Welcome back to Super Tuesday recap. This is Chris and Dpalm here, and we are back. There was no new episode of The Flash or Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. this week, but we did have Supergirl and Shannon the Doctor took care of that for us, and we did get new episodes of Arrow and Legends of Tomorrow, so that is what we are here for. So let's start at the beginning. Arrow, Season 5, Episode 6, So It Begins. Felicity and Curtis learn that Prometheus victims have a mysterious link to Oliver's past that could upend his new team. You know what? I watched this and Legends this morning, right after just getting back from New York, and I'm watching this episode. And for those people that, and again, I can't speak for everybody because I haven't had a problem with it this season. But if anybody was wondering why this season was tied so tightly to season like 1 and 2 and felt like it was kind of rehashing that, I think this episode kind of has to show you why, right?
100%, and it gives us a good reason to have the team, because the things that as viewers we normalized in season 1s and 2, you're like, wait a second, that was fucked up,
right? You know, like the whole thing of Oliver having to reveal that, hey, if you want to be real, he was a serial killer seasons 1 and 2.
Yeah, he had a list.
He had a list. And again, it is very important to mention how I like how they made distinctions between the list. It's like, yeah, when you killed Damien Darkh, when you killed Raish, that's one thing. You were killing bankers and lawyers, though. Like, that's totally different. You can't get away from that. You know?
You were breaking into houses using a ritualistic saying to kill them and like leaving calling cards.
Right.
You were Dexter with a bow and arrow. I
mean, and I like the fact that this all has to come out. Like, the only thing I was missing was I feel like this is going to have to happen. At some point, Oliver's going to sit down and tell the team everything. He's going to sit down and tell them, hey, I wasn't on the island for all 5 years. He's going to tell them everything because it's like, you at this point, and I'm loving that they're doing this, Oliver's secrets have to come out. Like, he cannot treat, and I love how they're doing, he cannot treat this team the same way he treated this previous team, where it took 4 years for him to finally open up, and he still didn't open up, right?
Right.
So, and I like that, and I like how this team is not going to put up with that shit either. You know, love that Elvin was like, yeah, I have a problem with this. And when it was either Renee, I can't remember if it was Renee or it was Curtis. It was like, so do you have a problem with, is it the fact that he's not telling you, he's keeping things from you, or is it the fact that he was a killer? And she's like, it can be both. Like,
yeah, it was a really good point because it's one of those things where you as a viewer, you're like, oh, Oliver is kind of fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yeah. Yeah. So I really enjoyed that, and I enjoy the fact that, you know, I like the fact that the team feels like, hey, Diggle's back, and he's kind of keeping things with the A team, and we're the B team, not telling us. And again, they're not wrong. He's definitely doing that, and you can't. So, you know, gotta do that. Well, I guess we'll save the Prometheus thing for last, because that. Well, I do like the fact that Prometheus out here dropping random civilians, yo.
Just breaking into houses. Why are you killing me? Your name happens to be an anagram for a name of another. You know what? Let's not explain it. I'm just gonna shoot you.
Right. I'm like, wait a minute. Did he just kill a housewife? Like, and I'm waiting for something to come up like, oh yeah, they were all under witness protection. They were really.
Yeah, me too. I was like, something connects these people.
And it was nothing other than you poor unlucky soul had a name that was just perfect. And
this nigga is armed with a phone book.
Right. Oh man, not good. I love the. I said this last week, I think, when I talked about how I kind of like the fact that Felicity and Oliver aren't together, and they might be moving away from that and not bringing them back together. 'Cause I think they both have very good moments. Like, they work well together, but it's like they have very good moments when you're not trying to force them in a relationship. She had a very good moment with her boyfriend. I keep forgetting his name. The one that's a police, officer.
It doesn't matter yet.
Yeah, it doesn't matter yet. It's not real yet. And I love the fact that everybody's kind of teasing him about Susan Williams. Oliver, stop calling Susan Williams my girlfriend. Well, she gave you your number. Are you going to call her? And I love that. I love that when he was approached at the beginning of the episode by Quentin and Thea, he's like, I haven't done anything yet. And they're just like, yeah, we don't feel comfort in you saying yet. That means you're thinking about it.
The look on their faces when he said yet, I was like, oh, I'm so glad they caught that.
Right. It's like, come on, dude, really? Yet? Which means it's on the table.
Something's going to happen. You can't get mad yet.
Right. Can you let me do this? Another thing I like this episode that we haven't seen before, and again, it adds a little bit of the Batman element to this. Oliver working with the police. When he shows up at that crime scene, and the DA's there, Adrian Chase is there, and you're just like, oh, wait, this is something we haven't really seen before. Yeah, Quentin was there, but Quentin was almost always, before we knew it was Oliver, was always chasing after him. It was always, I got to get out of here before the police show up. Here, Oliver walks into a crime scene.
He's gone full Batman.
Yeah, full Batman. Clear the room. I gotta have a talk to the hooded vigilante right here.
I want him to slip and call him Jim once. Jim? What? Adrian, sorry.
Sorry. Can I call you a Jim now? You look like a Jim.
Can I call you Jim? It feels more real if I call you Jim.
Yeah, you look like a Jim. Yeah. I'm telling you, if they get a fucking giant arrow symbol.
That's gotta happen.
Yo, I swear to God, I'm gonna lose it if they do that shit, man. Also, I think I figured out. So we talked about that. We've been having questions about this. I'm back to Diggle is using Frank bullets, and I'm still not sure what the fuck Renee is using.
Diggle used train bullets today because those people weren't actually criminals. I need more evidence that Diggle's been tranking motherfuckers because. As you and I discovered last week, we think that Oliver's just like, I'm not killing as much. They're killing a lot, but I'm not killing as much.
He's basically, I'm on killing light right now, yo.
Yeah. It's like, I'm trying to quit.
Well, again, that goes back to the conversation they had when, if you think about it, they kind of normalized his killing. They were like, they justified it. Like, and I find that interesting because in previous seasons, even they were like, Oliver, you can't go that far. You can't kill this person. You can't kill that evil person. Yeah, they deserve it. You can't kill Deathstroke. You can't do this. You got to find another way. You got to do, like, even Diggle, Felicity, all of them were doing that. In this episode, Diggle and Felicity are like, sometimes you got to do what you got to do, yo. Like, you did what you had to do, and you killed, and cause even Oliver was like, yo, I'm not a different person. I'm still that guy. I've still killed people. I've killed people. This, like, recently. It's like, that's different. Like, it's interesting seeing how much both sides have kind of come to the middle. Whereas Oliver is now feeling more guilt about the lives he's taken. And Diggle and Felicity are on some, there's gray areas. And even with Diggle, he's like, yo, listen, I know what it's like to take a life. And it technically was murder because I did that with my brother, Felicity, granted, it was a tough choice, but she really did drop a nuke on a town.
And really kind of moved on quickly from it.
She's in a stable relationship.
She's pretty happy.
She's pretty happy,
She's robbing a motherfucker at work, like.
Right. He's already taken his fucking basketball shorts and shit like that.
Yeah, man.
Come on, man. Like, but I like that because it shows you that. Because when they first started the show, and this shows you the growth of the characters, everybody was so rigid. Right. Oh, you can't kill. Oh, you can't do. Only one that is still kind of rigid on it, and it's understandable, is Thea.
Yeah, Thea's got her reasons.
Right. And I mean, shit. I mean, you had a bloodlust and you that was only satisfied when you killed people. So I can kind of understand why killing isn't on the table for her anymore, and she has a hard line. I mean, and that goes to when you look at her relationship with Quentin and him technically not falling off the wagon because he was never on it, with his drinking. Like, she sees somebody who has an addiction where her addiction was addiction to killing. She had a desire to do that, and she had people that was there for her to help her beat it back. She's trying to do that for Quentin. And I knew he was drinking. I mean, we kind of all knew he was drinking before, but when he first showed him, he popped that fucking breath mint.
Man.
Come on, dog. I saw that shit and I was like, dude, you're back on the bottle, yo. Like, you walked in and you immediately popped the Altoid, yo. Come on, man. You pop the Altoid before you come into the building, man. Come on. You can't pop it after so everybody sees it, because then even if you're not back on the sauce, it looks like you're back on the sauce, yo.
Right.
Come on, man. We'll get back to Quentin, because we got a lot to talk about with that. We finally got our man Dolph.
Yeah, this flashbacks, son.
I want a whole episode of flashbacks.
If they gave me an episode of flashbacks, not mad at all. I'm not mad one bit.
The flashbacks are back, baby. Like, how can you not like these flashbacks, yo? How can you not? We just got Dolph Lundgren showing up, man. and he's as scary as you thought he would be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I watched it. I was like, I don't know how you're gonna get out of this one, Oliver. Like, I don't even know how he killed the dude that was behind Oliver. Like, kind of like, I don't know. It was like it was one of the things that I looked at. I was like, wait, how did you snapped his neck? I know, but that didn't look like it was hard for you. Like,
at all. He didn't even flex.
It didn't look like you put any effort into that. You're way too calm about that, and I am now worried for everybody involved. Like, I'm not really worried about Oliver just because I know he survives this, but it's like, I don't know how he survives it. So, yeah, I am all in on these flashbacks. And I think they use them very well in that they're not so heavy-handed in being tied to the. Right. I think the last two seasons, what they did, they tried, and I know these episodes will tie into the current time. The flashbacks will turn to the current time, but the last two seasons, I think they were just too heavy-handed with it. These you feel like while they will probably have a direct tie-in and there'll be something from Oliver's past that comes up, it almost feels like it's showing you how deep into the shit Oliver got and why it's so hard for him to come back out and be an open, trusting person. You know,
right?
Like, that feels more, and I think that is why the episodes season 1 and 2 worked so well. The flashback worked so well those seasons is because sometimes it's not just a direct tie-in. It's okay, this is showing you why he acts the way he does now.
Right.
You know? It
fleshes out the current day stuff.
Exactly. I think
as opposed to being completely complimentary, like, this is the same artifact, don't you get it?
Right. You know? I mean, season 2 is a little bit different when that actually introduced Slade, but even then it was a slow burn into that, and it wasn't so heavy-handed. And even, you know, and it's still complimented to show, like you said, why they were acting the way they were acting. Like, you know, you see why Slade was so fucking crazy in present day because of what happened on the island. Last season, when you had them going after the artifact, it just didn't really do anything. Like, I didn't have a problem with them, but they didn't really resonate as to having to need them. And then season 3 was the same way. You know, other than telling you, oh wow, we have this virus. Other than that, you know, introducing like Katana, it's just you didn't really need it that much. So yeah, these I think are definitely way better at fleshing out the characters and giving us the contrast of Oliver. You're getting in the past, you're getting Oliver learning how to he's learning how to be a brother in the Bruffa, but he's doing it in a way that is completely opposite of forming a trusting, loving team, right? Right. Even though they're brothers, even though they die for each other, it is it is the wrong way to. It is not the team building, trust building exercises that you need in the present day. And I think those are the way that those complement each other, and I'm very happy about that. So, all right, let's talk about the end of this episode. Yeah.
What? Okay, so let's ask first. Do you think that what they tried to tell us is what's going on?
I don't know. I don't want to think so, but it would be an interesting twist. I mean, the thing that sold me was the cut on his arm.
Okay.
You know, it's like that's the thing because Evelyn did get a cut in on whoever was in the and it was on the right arm. It was in that same spot. I do think if they do go that way, there's clearly way more going on here.
Right.
And he's being controlled by somebody. But I don't. I'm very intrigued.
So as you say that, it reminds me that we've both been kind of championing the return to basics this season.
Mm-hmm.
And for him to be controlled by an outside force, would kind of divorce away from that.
Exactly.
I think that the cut's a red herring. I think that our Prometheus cut him to add the doubt because he knows this team.
That's a good point.
Because this is the most personal villain we've gotten since Slade.
Mm-hmm.
This is someone who's melting arrowheads that were used in the killings to send a message.
Mm-hmm.
You know who I think it is?
Roy?
No.
Who do you think it is? Oh, Tommy?
Yep.
You think Tommy's back?
I think Flashpoint fucked up a lot more things than we think.
Oh, shit. I didn't even think about that.
And remember, when Tommy died, what was Ollie's promise? To always look after Laurel. Laurel dies, Prometheus shows up. He's the son of Malcolm Merlyn.
That's
if his 5 years away, there's a different set of flashbacks that can start next year.
That's a good point. Yeah, that would be
a very personal villain.
No, it is. That would make a lot of sense. I've heard the Tommy thing before. I didn't know how you, and I was like, wait, I didn't think about that. You're right, Flashpoint. And here's the thing. It's before Barry met Oliver, so Barry wouldn't know who Tommy was. So if that changed the timeline, Barry wouldn't have been able to pick up on it.
Right.
Because Barry doesn't know who Tommy is.
He wouldn't even ask the question.
He wouldn't
ask about Sarah's or Diggle's daughter because he knew.
He knew them. But he doesn't know Tommy because Tommy was dead. Tommy was dead before he knew him. So that would actually be what
if this time there just was no body after the cataclysm?
Yeah.
We know that Merlin had access to a Lazarus pits.
Mm-hmm. That would make sense because here's the thing. Who is Merlin going to lean on to now? Because Merlin doesn't have Thea. He needs an heir, and Tommy's always...
He trained Thea fast as shit.
Mm-hmm.
If he's had Tommy hold away for 5 years...
Dude. and we'll get into it later, but hey, who knows what happens with Legends and what Dawn does there. So yeah, no, that's a good yeah. I can definitely see that. That would be a mind fuck. That'd be good though. 'Cause I really like that. I can't remember the actor who played Tommy. I really liked Tommy in the first season.
Yeah.
He grew like at first he started off as a douchebag, but you realize like, oh no, you're actually a good dude. Like, oh man, and then he died. And again, that would really bring it full circle.
Mm-hmm. It truly would be a season one revisiting.
That would explain the getting back to the basics. That would explain the tie-in to season 1 and 2. It would explain everything because, yeah, and it would explain why Prometheus didn't care when Tobias Church said, I know who the Arrow is. Tommy already knows.
Oh, he knew. Yeah, he knew.
Tommy knew. So, yeah, no, that would make sense. That would make sense why he would go and he know, like you said, the red herring, going and cutting Lance's arm, knowing he's drunk and knowing that he's fucked up and going there and that makes perfect sense. Yeah, I agree with you now. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's got to be him right now, right? You know. Whew, yeah, but yeah, man, I'm loving this season. I'm loving
great season.
It's a great season for. I'm really loving this season. You got anything else you want to say about this before we move on to Legends?
No, let's get to it.
All right, let's go on to Legends. And Thawne is back, and anytime you bring Thawne in a little bit, I'm all in on the show. Because Thawne is evil as shit. And, yeah. And you bring in Lance.
He's just so delightfully evil.
He's delightfully evil. And then you bring in Lance Henriksen, who I didn't know they were going to have as Todd Rice. I didn't know they were going to have him as Obsidian. I did not know. I don't really keep track of like castings like that. So I had no idea he was gonna be Obsidian. So when he took the mask off, I was like, oh, it's Bishop. I was like, oh, you guys are yes. I like this episode because it also represents, just like the Arrow this season, it represents how much they've learned from season 1.
Right.
And the problem with season 1 was, in addition to the Hawks, you had you had Rip Hunter telling them about not changing the timeline, but his whole mission was changing the timeline. Like, that was his whole thing. So in this episode, you take care of that with Sara coming up against Damien Darkh and telling in the conversation between Stein and Jax, oh no, we can't change the timeline. And then as soon as she gets eyes on Darkh, she immediately breaks that rule.
Right.
And she gets called out on it. She deals with it. By the end of the episode, we don't have to worry about it again.
We think she appears to have come to grips with it.
Yeah, I mean, I can see they're getting to a part where at some point she might have to kill him. Not because, but it won't. I don't think it'll be because of vengeance. Not saying she won't take pleasure in it,
right?
But like, she could have killed, or at least attempted to kill Damien Darkh at that point.
Mm-hmm. No, I think that that arc with her isn't done. I think there's some backsliding, if you will.
Oh yeah, and I can deal with backsliding, but season 1, Rip Hunter never had a backslide because that was the mission, right?
The mission was to change history.
The mission was to change history, which goes against the entire premise of the show. Here, as Jax put it, they're time janitors.
Yeah.
You know, they're coming in, they're cleaning up the timeline after somebody comes in and messes it up. But they're being better time masters than Rip Hunter and them ever were. They're actually, like, if you think about it, they're not, well, a little bit, we'll see. Well, actually, no, they're not messing up the timeline. They're fixing it. You know, and ripping them, they kept making one big mistake after the next. Like, this season, I feel, it just makes more sense to me. It just does. And I enjoy, I don't know, I just enjoy seeing this team work together. Like, the new additions to the team, bringing in Amaya, it's just, you know, even going back to 1987 and going to look at going to the GSA training facility and finding out that there is no GSA anymore.
Right.
You know? And I think that is, I like that. You got more history on the GSA and how they use. I mean, if you guys listen to our Character Corner GSA, I mean, it makes sense. I love the fact that Todd Rice, you know, is gay, and the reason why that he was on that last mission where they didn't come back, he was deemed as not being able to be trusted because he was gay. You know, like I like that the show is, and I think this is something that they didn't do season 1. When you go to these time periods and you act like everything's okay. Like, oh yeah, we have a black guy. We're going to go back to Civil War times and it'll be okay. You might have a slave joke here, but that's about it. You know, we go back to the 80s and the gay guy, he's fine. You know, there's nothing wrong with being gay. No, there definitely is something wrong with being gay. Yeah. We really try to do that season 1 with the nurse that Sara seduced. Right? And they made it say, oh, well, yeah, just come out and be yourself. And I'm just like, yeah, but that's not, it's like the 1950s. No. She could get killed for that. You can't just act like that's okay. You know? Like, you know, I liked how when Nate went to ask Todd, hey, why didn't you go on the mission? What was going on? And Amaya was just like, don't don't go into that. Don't ask him that. Like, 'cause she knew that it was a problem. She knew that it caused issues probably even back then. And so I like the fact that they don't shy away from that to make it seem like, oh, well, no, he's a superhero, so hey, of course, no, there's no problem. No, he saved the world. And just like black people who fought in World War II come home and still be treated like niggers. This dude, sacrifices all this stuff and fought for this country, but he was, didn't have the sexuality that, those in charge approved of. And so he was deemed as a threat and as not being patriotic enough. And they don't spend a whole lot of time doing that. You have to, pay attention to some of the conversations, but I like the fact that it's there. And they don't make it a focus, but it's there in the background, and I appreciate that.
It's something that I noticed, and obviously we don't cover Supergirl, but it's something that it's a level of subtlety with things like that they've really brought to this network.
Mm-hmm.
And while there is times that, you can say, oh, they tackled like interesting topics, but like there are different shows that would beat you over the head with it, or the entire episode would be his struggles as a gay superhero. Mm-hmm. No, it was an aspect of his character that informed why he was the last one alive, mm-hmm. and allowed him to explore, to for us to not ignore it, but also not allow the character to be defined solely by that. Mm-hmm. It's a tightrope walk. And again, like I almost wish I reviewed Supergirl so I could talk about this with that show now. But like the subtle way they're doing it there, it's so much more deftly handled than you would normally see like one of the main characters might be coming out. Like there'd be like promos and like it'd be gross and weird and voyeuristic and like fetishized. Mm-hmm. This just felt normal and like it felt like something that was happening, not something that was happening. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. 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 I mean, in a way, you kind of got to think about it. Okay, so the GSA 1940s. You have Amaya talking about how her and Rex they didn't fraternize because it was a rule: don't fraternize with each other and don't get close. But they clearly had feelings for each other, and they were going to leave the league to form a life together. You got to remember, he's a white dude. She's not white.
Right.
I don't think that fraternization rule had anything to really do with the fact that they were just working together. I don't think that's the reason why they would have to go and go form a life together somewhere else. I don't think that's the reason why. I'm just gonna again. It's the thing that they don't say it, but you start when you look at everything else that's going on. You start putting two and two together. She's a black woman. He's a white guy. What do you guys think? We've covered everything else, and again, they haven't even hinted at that. But now that they confirmed that they were trying to form a life together, I'm like, okay, I see what the problem with this was. Come on, So, Mick and
Ray trying so damn hard, man. He just want to belong. Oh, awkward ass, goofy ass, shitty haircut having ass Ray.
I was worried that when we weren't gonna get any more Captain Cold. I was worried that we were gonna be missing something. I was worried we were gonna be missing those scenes that you just felt like, oh, that carried. I needed that. Dominic Purcell is clearly taking over that role. There are so many moments in this episode. The one I liked the most was at the end where Ray is trying to disarm the bomb. He's just like, well, we got 10 seconds to live. And he starts eating the cupcake. Like, oh, man, it's so good, yo. It's so good. You cross the streams. Well, we said we don't follow rules. That is the rule. That is the only rule. Never cross streams.
Those two, like, we know we're getting with Ray eventually, but I'm glad we're taking the long road.
Right. I mean, it's. it's so much fun. And also, I even love Mick saying, it's like at one point he's like, no, I've been trying to get you to be somebody you're not. You're Ray. Do that science shit. All right, come on. I love the are you wearing his jacket? Yeah, I'm Colonel Cold. The hell you are. You aren't giving yourself a promotion.
Yo.
Oh man. And then Mick saying he had a problem saying feelings. He couldn't say he had feelings. Like,
right.
Dude, I could do an entire show with Ray and Mick, yo.
And who would have thought that a year ago?
Oh man,
they've really revitalized the show with what they've been doing this season.
Yeah, no, I love that. Also loved Stein telling Sara, "Hey, you're no longer an assassin. You're our captain."
Yep.
Yeah. Great line. Needed that. I love that young Stein is a dick, even more than old Stein.
Still a dick.
Still a dick. Still clueless. And his wife is fine as shit, and you're an idiot. Come on, dude. And I love that older Stein is realizing how much of a dick his younger self was, and has to have that pep talk. It's like, dude, listen. If you don't make that woman the center of your fucking life, right the fuck now. And it makes you wonder if that's what he always had to do.
Right, that's already happened. Like, this always happened.
Mm-hmm. Like, think about it. If he never went back to become a legend, maybe their relationship never becomes as close because he never has his older self to go, "Hey, idiot, go take care of your wife, yo. Get your head out of your fucking books." And she's no matter what happens, no matter what award you win, she's number fucking one. She is. Get it together, you know. And where sometimes we have, I would have a future Chris come back and tell me to get my shit together, you know. That'd be nice, reassuring. As long as it's just not like Sara telling Damien Darkh how his life is going to end and ruin his entire existence.
Yo, what are these, like, for all these fucking time travelers? Remember when Cisco did that shit with Reverse Flash?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, look, guys, maybe you guys should just shut the fuck up around them.
Yeah. Although
they're already time travelers, you assholes.
Well. To be fair to her, Darkh wasn't a time traveler.
Guess what? If you tell me I'm dying in 30 years, I'm doing 30 years from now. Everything I can not to die.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Because think about how. This is why I really like Legends this season. Think about how focused and obsessed Darkh was with the arc in season 4 of Arrow.
That's a good point.
And it makes you wonder and then also why did he pick, Laurel Lance to be the one to kill? Like,
that's a really good one.
It makes you wonder. Like, think about it. Think about the guilt Sara's gonna feel if she finds out the reason why Darkh picked Laurel, and Laurel was the one to die, was because you traced this man through history, and you made a rivalry. Taunting him and made a rivalry, and you basically caused your own sister's death.
You're right. That's good.
And not only that, but think about how obsessed Darkh was with the arc. Like, he was so obsessed with this project and doing this, and it was his only thing. And he was very like his focus on his family and all this other stuff.
You're right.
If you were told,
the urgency gets much realer. You're right.
Right. If you were told that this is how your life ends, and I'm telling you, man, if we find out that all the season 4 of Arrow happened because of Sara Lance, like, again, you gotta think of, like, yeah, because if Thawne is going back in time, changing time, and Legends are fixing it, like, and now Darkh is going with him, which can never end. It's not gonna end
right.
well. That's not gonna end well. Yeah, man. I have a feeling that this all was destined to happen. It's kind of like what happened last season, right? Where it was all destined to happen to lead to that fucking moment. You know, what if we get to the part where Sara and them end up going to the time period right before Laurel dies, and Sara has to make the decision not to go save Laurel? Just saying.
Man, this show, they're really using the time travel thing really well.
Yeah, they did it really well. I'm more excited about Legends of Tomorrow this season than I was the previous seasons. I think I'm very happy with what they're doing here, and it's great. I fucking love it. And apparently they love it too because they're getting, I think, 4 more episodes. They extended the season order, so we're getting more of that. So I'm all in for Legends. I've really have been enjoying this season. I've been enjoying all the CW shows.
Right.
I think they've all stepped it up, and can't wait. Cannot wait. They still got a lot of way to catch up to Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., but, you know, hey, we all can't be perfect. All right, man, you got anything else you want to say about this?
I'm blown away at how much I'm really enjoying the show. I'm blown away at how much they're able to balance and give us individual character growth. Like Jax going from saying we shouldn't do the timeline to watching the plantation house burn last episode. This episode saying that maybe there's some changes that need to be made. Mm-hmm. I think you're right. It's all destined to happen. But you got to remember that the one thing we learned from Flashpoint, even when you fix things, they aren't fixed.
Right.
And who knows if this was always meant to be fixed this way, or if we're going to start seeing, or if this is a great way to enter in little continuity wrinkles in our present day shows.
Right. I mean, think about it. I mean, the GSA went away because the team died. But remember, Amaya's not with the team. Rex is not with the team. If they fix the timeline and she comes back and Rex comes back, the GSA might not die in that.
That's mission. The thing is, she never goes back.
Yeah.
You got to remember, she doesn't make it back because he says, "Why did you leave us?" Not like, "Hey, you were gone for a while, but you came back."
Oh, you're right.
She never makes it back. I realized that this episode too.
I didn't think about that. You're right. Yeah, man. I'm really enjoying this season. Yeah, this is some great shit right here, man. All right, so I know Supergirl's up this week. The Flash is back this week. All the episodes are back this week. Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. won't be. We'll be back though, and then in 2 weeks we're gonna have a character corner on Teen Titans. So yeah, folks, leave us a 5-star review. We'll read it on air. Send us your emails. And again, search for Super Tuesday Recap on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, or any of your favorite podcasters, or go to mtrnetwork.net. Until next time, we are out of here. Peace.